It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon for some soccer. David Horsheim, Landon South, and thanks for tuning in here on ESPN Plus for this Western Conference showdown between the Portland Timbers 2 and the Real Monarchs. The battle for the playoffs begins today. Both teams really in a spot where they're capable of being in the playoffs, but at the same time, capable of falling out of the top 10. What's going to happen today, David?
This is such a critical point in the season because right now, a few weeks ago, you would have talked about the Monarchs. They were sitting in 3rd or 4th place. Now, they've had a 5-game winless streak. They're dropping points consistently. Now they're nearly dropping out of the playoff race. So every game is basically a playoff game from here on out. So who's going to step up tonight for the Monarchs?
Portland sits only 1 point outside of the top 10, but that 1 point means a lot right now because there's a handful of teams right there in the thick of things, and it could be pretty wild. Let's check out the standings in the Western Conference and see how it all lays out. As you can see, Phoenix Rising running away with things in the Western Conference, 68 points. Fresno, Reno, Sacramento, Austin, Orange County, the Galaxy 2, and then the Monarchs in 8th, and then down in 12th, Portland Timbers 2, but it really is the difference of 2 points, not 1 point, with them being out of the playoffs and in the playoffs in the same position that the Monarchs are. So a lot happening. On the other side of the break, we're going to toss it or show the starting lineups for both sides, and we'll get this game underway. America First Credit Union, ensuring the financial health of local families and businesses for 80 years. Tonight's match is presented by Steward Healthcare. Steward, world-class healthcare where you live. Visit steward.org. Mountain America, start preparing for your future today with Picture Perfect savings accounts from Mountain America. They offer term deposits, youth accounts, retirement savings, and more. Visit macu.com. For banking that always puts the best team on the pitch, Zions Bank is for you.
A lot can happen when your sidekick is a dog.
Kicker! I got this.
That's why you use Zelle in the Mountain America app. It makes sending and receiving money fast and easy. So Kicker and I can keep the adventure going.
Zelle is now in the Mountain America mobile app. Quickly send and receive money from almost anyone with a bank account in the U.S.
Kicker, my sleeping bag.
I've got this.
All with the convenience and security of the Mountain America app.
We're live here at Zions Bank Stadium in beautiful Harriman, Utah. As you can see the field to the west, north and west of this beautiful complex here at the Zions Bank Real Academy. David, let's start off with the visiting team and check out the lineup for the Timbers 2, coached by Cameron Knowles.
And as you take a look at this roster tonight, it's not about the players on the field. I think it's the lack of players that they brought tonight. This organization has been hit so hard by injuries that they're not even able to bring a full roster. But one player I want to point out is Foster Langsdorff, currently leading this team in goals this year. He is a guy that works his tail off the entire game, and you always have to know where he is because of his work ethic. He can always make something happen.
Handful of different guys as well in this starting line. McIntosh replacing Leaker tonight. His 5th game of the season, 16 saves, 6 goals conceded on the season. Let's check out the starters for Hamas and Alave and the Monarchs.
And when you look at this roster, I mean, there are so many exciting names to talk about tonight, but can Bofo Salcedo, can he come down from the first team after just being in the U23 camp, and can he make a difference for this team tonight? When these guys the first team guys come down, they have to come down and make a difference. So look for him to come in off the wing and make something happen. And then, of course, you always have Douglas Martinez, who made his debut for the first team on Wednesday. Can he continue his scoring ways and propel this team into the playoffs?
And he looked good and was exciting. Let's check out the referees for tonight's match. So you're going to look at all 4 of them. Brad Jensen is our center referee. Francisco Bermudez, Justin Fillmore, and Scott Jones is our fourth official for the match tonight. Brad Jones, a name many recognize as he's done a handful of RSL games as well here locally. Crowd starting to fill in here into Zions Bank Stadium. But David, one of the things that we mentioned, a few players, but not only a few from RSL tonight, there is 7 different players with a contract from Real Salt Lake starting in this 11 for the Monarchs tonight.
And as you go into this last part of the season, you need every single player to be healthy. You need every single player to be ready to go at any moment. And by the first team sending these guys down, it's sending them a message that, hey, we need you guys to be ready as we make this final push into the last part of the season and the playoffs.
And we are underway here in this Western Conference showdown between the Portland Timbers 2 and the Real Monarchs. Monarchs are going to move from right to left in their all whites. Portland in their green from head to toe with the nice gold trim on the side. It's a forest green. Luke Mulholland out wide to Michael Chang. Chang, one of those players that's been dangerous all season long. And David, if you have to pick a player, he's one of those guys that you want on the ball pretty constantly throughout the match because he's a guy that creates chances.
He is definitely that guy that comes in off
Douglas
the wide
Martinez
side.
is going to get in behind the defense. Martinez going towards goal, shielded off by Dispay.
And when you talk about Michael Chang, he's that guy, because of his left foot, and he plays on the right side, he can tuck inside and make so many things happen.
Calixto, defended by 3 different Monarchs, as Ryden's able to win the throw-in for the Monarchs here on the near side.
But one thing I would really like to watch for tonight, Landon, is we talked about that the Monarchs have been on a 5-game winless streak. Who is going to step up tonight for the Monarchs and get them over the finish line? Who's going to propel this team forward, not just on goals or on defense or anything that, but from a leadership standpoint? Who can step up and be that guy for them tonight?
It'll be out for a throw-in. Hansen will take the throw-in. Hansen looking for runners. Ball slips through to Langsdorff. Calixto trying to do a little too much as he's dispossessed. Chang gets a little love tap from behind from Smith. One of those things you have to do is make sure Chang knows that you're there and you're not going to allow him to turn, because when he turns, he's got ideas and can go make things happen.
I would say with any player that's dynamic the way Chang is, they don't like to be kicked. And if you can let them know early that it's going to be a long night for them, you can get them in your back pocket and be very tough all night. Throw in for the Monarchs. The AR and the center referee weren't quite on the same page, but the center referee overrode the AR here on the near side. Schmidt playing in the left back position again for the 2nd time this season. I spoke to him after the last game, and he had never played outside back in his career. And this is an experiment that they're trying again. Now, last game, I thought he did very well for never having played that position before, but is that just because that was his first time and there's a lot of emotions going? So the way you can tell if somebody does well is if they do it week in and week out. And he'll get a chance tonight to show. Ball out wide. Hurtado plays it inside the box. Schmidt there still falls into position for Portland, but cleared away by the Monarchs. Blake goes down under the challenge. Anguiano. And to continue on with Tate Schmidt here, you saw in that cross that the winger was able just to get that inside position on him. And as he learns more and more about being a left back, he has to realize you can't allow the player to get that position. Schmidt was lucky that the ball was over that winger's head. Can he get better position next time? Beautiful turn there by Chang. Chang picks up his head. He's still running at Hansen, or Smith, excuse me. He'll be dispossessed. Ball in to Portillo. Back to Moberg. Jack Blake serving it up, trying to find Martinez in on the run. Defended nicely by Hansen, but the flag was up on the far side. 5th minute of play. As you can see, head coach Jamison Olave, interim head coach currently, in his 2nd interim stint for this Monarch side.
Monarchs enter tonight's match 10-9-7 on the season, 35 points, currently sitting inside the playoff mix. Portland 9-10-8, 35 points on the season. Both teams separated just by those 2 points, so a big 3 points would be massive for both sides tonight.
I mean, any game right now is a 6-point swing. That's why you have to pick up points, especially at home, especially when teams come in here to Utah, because it is not an easy place to play for away teams. Can they pick up all 3 points? Because obviously it's tough to go on the road. You gotta get those points at home.
And both teams were a part of the 2018 playoffs. Both teams losing in the first round. Portland losing to Phoenix. And the Monarchs losing right here at Zions Bank Stadium to Reno. Ball takes a deflection. Diz Pay was right there. And so was Sebastian Salcedo. Like you mentioned, spent time with the U23s, featured in a couple games for them in a very successful camp they had with a handful of other RSL players. Smith's going to let that one go over and out for a throw-in. Monarchs have a handful of different players on the bench as options tonight. And some very capable players, but a very solid starting 11 tonight.
And you expect a lot from this team that they put out there tonight. Quite a few first-teamers, guys that you expect to come down and make a difference. And will they? You know, will they come down and make that difference that you need from them?
Schmidt's going to be taken down, and the foul will be called. He's going to quickly set the ball, and he'll play a big diagonal ball over to James Moberg, who's coming back from a concussion. He was pretty smacked the last time we saw him play.
It's great seeing him back out in the field because that was such a scary injury. Head injuries, man, those are that you just don't mess around with those. And to see the way the players reacted after he went down, it's good to see him back out in the field and playing.
As you can see, Cameron Knowles, head coach for the Timbers too. 26, 24, and 12 in his career in his second season with this Timbers side. Ryden picks up his head, finds Mulholland. Mulholland trying to find Martinez. Martinez has got to be riding high with some confidence to get some good minutes with Real Salt Lake. He looked good in the game as he's going to pick up his head, trying to play it into the box, trying to get it towards Salcedo, but cut off by McIntosh. But as I was saying, got some good minutes and had some decent opportunities throughout the match.
It's always so exciting to get your debut with a team, but that's over with now. He's got to continue playing well and proving that he belongs on the first team, and not only belongs, but that he should be playing. Now, obviously, he's proven that with the Monarchs, but he has to be able to prove that with the first team as well. And by coming down to the Monarchs and doing the same stuff he's been doing, he can prove that.
In 20 games, 11 goals, 6 assists. And, I mean, he's showing that he's capable of playing really at any level at this point. And he's a guy that's playing with the youth national teams for Honduras, scored goals there in the Pan American Games. You have to wonder, does he get a shot with the senior team and Honduras here coming up here in the next year or so? Schmidt keeps possession. Jack Blake is going to try to open things up. Finds Holtz. Combination has been pretty solid so far from this Monarch side. They seem to be doing what they want with the ball. Ball inside the box. Schmidt going to try to get there, shielded off nicely by Hansen.
The Monarchs have had some great combination play so far in this game. But when you look at this game right now, the Timbers aren't putting a lot of hard pressure on the Monarchs. Right now, the Timbers, they might be a little heavy leg from the flight in yesterday, but they're not getting there quickly, and they're allowing the Monarchs to basically do whatever they want. So the Monarchs, they have to take advantage of this. Before the Timbers are able to get into the game, take advantage of their sluggishness and put one on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and one of the things we've seen, teams that have had success against this Monarch side here at Zions Bank Stadium, teams have come out on the foot on the gas, trying to put the Monarchs in a position where they have to react quick. As Ryden's going to let that one roll, and it'll be a goal kick for Andrew Putna.
If the Timbers are going to want to find success on the road today, their pressure is going to have to be a little bit more urgent than what it is right now. And then on the flip side of that, the Monarchs, they have to have a little bit more urgency in possessing the ball because the Timbers are so sluggish at this point.
Holtz settles. Only one injury report. Player on the injury report for Timbers 2. Nico De Vera out with a right torn Achilles. For the Monarchs tonight, Ricardo Avila still out, ankle injury. And Steve Hasso now as well on the list with a left foot injury. Schmidt had a lot of space, and David, that's something you noticed. The wing has opened up for him so far in this match.
And what you will see is that Bofo Salcedo, because we talked about with Chang earlier, Bofo Salcedo is right-footed playing on the left, so he's going to want to go inside all day long, which opens up acres of space for Tate Schmidt to get around him. Now, that ball has to be played a couple seconds earlier while Schmidt's making that run so he can run onto it. It was played a few seconds late, and ball was played behind him.
One of the challenges for Schmidt is his defensive responsibility. He's used to having some attacking opportunities, but tonight he's going to have the defensive responsibility to make sure he's covering and keep an eye on guys like Langsdorff. Ball sprayed out wide. Chang settles. He's going to size up Smith in towards Blake. Blake with a nice turn, tries to flick it through, slit the needle in, but it's going to be picked off. Header won by Langsdorff. Holt's going to be in a foot race with Langsdorff. Langsdorff goes in, plays it inside the box, and Putna gets there. Has a little bit of a slip up, but able to collect again.
And that's the work ethic I'm talking about from Foster Langsdorff. He wins the header, and then he gets onto his own header. That right there is what you want to see from one of your forward players. Now the Timbers, they need to get a few more players with that conviction to get into the box.
Salcedo out wide to Blake. Blake inside the 18, back towards Salcedo. Salcedo goes down. Ref waves off the PK. Jack Blake with a shot towards goal, and it's going to go wide. Fans are booing as Salcedo went down in the box, but we'll have to get a replay look at that and see if it was a little soft. That's a PK.
100% that is a PK. It doesn't matter if it's soft, if it's hard, if it's a foul is a foul, and that's definitely a PK. But guess what? It's over with now. Can the Monarchs put themselves in that position again and make something of it?
But you like the interchange there as Salcedo, like you mentioned, cut inside, found himself in between the center backs, and a nice job there by Jack Blake to find him.
And we talked about guys coming down and making a difference. Bofo Salcedo, 11 minutes into this game, already making a difference, and that's what you want to see from these guys.
Portland keeping with their blocks of 3, essentially letting Langsdorff do some running up top. Trying to keep their even lines in the midfield.
But what you're seeing right there, when Bofo Salcedo receives that ball, Calixto, he's on his back, but he's not really providing any pressure to him. He's letting Salcedo go wherever he wants. If you're Calixto, you got to get tight, and you got to be hard on him.
Make sure he knows you're there. Chang picks up his head. Chang just in the corner, keeps it in. Finds Moberg. Moberg plays it in towards Jack Blake. Takes a deflection and cleared away by Timbers 2. Moberg gets his head on it. Back to Holtz. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Moberg in, trying to find Martinez, and Martinez has been in that spot a couple times. It doesn't look like he's going to win the foot race tonight, but his positioning has been very solid so far through 14 minutes.
He's making it very difficult for the center backs right now for Portland. So the center backs for Portland cannot tune out at all because they always have to know where Martinez is because he's making very good runs right now and finding those slots in behind. Can the balls just be a little bit better from the Monarchs and find him? But he's letting the Timbers back forward know, hey, I'm going to be busy all night and you have to be ready for me.
Especially because Chang's got in a couple times in behind Smith, and him getting in means there's service coming in to Martinez. Wharton, the captain. Diagonal ball. It's going to be attempted to be settled by Brian Hurtado. 5 goals on the season for him. He's another dangerous player, capable of making things happen as well. Moberg with the throw-in. former University of Washington Husky. Jack Blake. Blake towards Bofo Salcedo. Salcedo just outside the area. He picks up his head in towards Mulholland. Mulholland shot saved by McIntosh as McIntosh did a beautiful job to get down and keep the Monarchs out.
Very unlucky for Mulholland. As you see in the replay here, Salcedo gets one-on-one, plays a great ball into a streaking Mulholland, and just so unlucky to finish that. It actually goes underneath the goalkeeper, but he gets that backhand down to make the save. I mean, that is a fantastic save, and it has been such a hard year for injuries in Mulholland. You want to see that go in, but those things just aren't going for him right now.
And you thought that buildup just felt good the whole time. It kind of just, it had the right mix to it. Players were finding themselves in the right position, just the final product was not there.
But you talk about having the conviction to make those runs, and you saw Mulholland going at 100% for at least 40 yards there to get on the end of a ball, and that's what you want to see from these guys, because it proves to the Monarchs players, hey, these guys came down to play. I need to step up my game as well.
Yeah, Mulholland has looked good the couple times he's played for this Monarch side, and you'd hope that as his health regains, he feels accustomed to it. He's played at this level before, down with the Rowdies, and he looked good. He was the player of the year, but he's been out of this mix for a little while, trying to get healthy, and recently we've seen him play pretty well. So like you said, it would be nice for him to get a goal to his name. Blake into Chang. Chang picks up his head. Salcedo making a run just at the PK spot. Cleared away nicely by Hansen. It'll be a throw-in for the Monarchs. But you could see that play building as he got towards the touchline, and Salcedo was making that nice run in, cut off nicely by Portland.
And I just talked about the commitment from Mulholland, but you saw the commitment from Salcedo there to make a 25-yard diagonal run.
In and knocked away. It'll be the first corner kick of the match for the Monarchs as James Moberg wins the corner.
Right now, I am absolutely loving the mentality that the Monarchs are showing right now. The commitment offensively and defensively from every single one of these guys, that's the Monarchs we have come to know. Not the Monarchs that we've seen over the last 5 weeks where they've given up soft goals, but this Monarchs right here. Now, can they get something out of it?
And the finished product is what you have to have. Ball driven in towards Holtz. Ryden rises high. And we have a player down, looks like a head injury. Nope, maybe he's up. As Schmidt cuts that one off.
Hey, Jack, Luke. One of us have to be. If he's there, we don't want to take 1 versus 1.
Figure out what's... He called it because of the head injury. It looked like he was holding his head. Maybe it was his neck. As Smith is up and all right. And our center referee is going to bring it up, and it'll be a drop ball, I believe. The Monarchs are going to play it back to the keeper. Or maybe not.
I kind of miss the old drop ball format, Landon.
Hockey style?
The hockey style. When you're 8 and 10 years old, it used to be the best moment of the game.
Ryden from a toss from Andrew Putna. Back to Holtz. Over to Ryden. Mulholland collects. He's going to elect to go backwards. And one of the things that so far the Monarchs have done is done a phenomenal job keeping possession. You don't have to go forward when it's not on, and we saw that from Luke Mulholland right there. Diagonal ball in, but not on target.
And as you see there, sometimes when you have too much possession, Landon, you get a little lackadaisical with your movement and your passes. And Kalen Ryan thought there was going to be either Bofo Salcedo or Jack Blake getting on the end of that, but both of those guys thought each other was getting it, and no one got it. So even though you have a lot of possession, it has to be that possession with a purpose, and you're doing something with it, moving defenders around, not just to have the ball to have the ball.
And one of the challenges that you sometimes are going to see with teams like this, where you have 7 guys that aren't necessarily always in the lineup, you're going to see a little bit of time to gel. I mean, I'm imagining, you know, you get the 2 days to train together most of the time, but one of the days is really light. So sometimes it's not always there.
It's that timing, it's that chemistry, and like you said, it isn't always there. And you're going to see, especially in the first part of a game, they're all figuring each other out right now, and then hopefully 30, 40 minutes into the game, they have it figured out.
Salcedo is making a nice run. Blake elects to go to Martinez. Martinez, Smith made the overlapping run. Portillo, former Monarchs captain. He'll take a big switch there to Moberg. Moberg elects to cut in, no options in front of him. We'll get back to Chang, or excuse me, to Portillo. Salcedo dancing around. He'll play it wide to Moberg. He has Blake wide of him. Elects to go to Mulholland. Good possession. But can they find the finished product here in the 21st minute? Chang inside the box. Ball checks up. Finds Salcedo. Salcedo hit ground before he hit ball, but a decent look there.
He finds himself in a great position again, but he's going to be so disappointed when he goes back and watches that, because as you see in the replay, this is an opportunity that he probably should have finished, and he has finished many times in his career, Landon, but just mishits the ball in the turf there, and ball rolls right to the goalie.
Sometimes it's a product of thinking a little too hard. I mean, it's natural to step up and hit these balls, and they know what they're doing. I mean, how many shots has Bofo taken from that position? But sometimes when you have a little too long to think, foot gets caught up or something goes a little awry. Salcedo gets fouled.
Now, I'm all right with that foul from Dispay right there, because he's letting Salcedo know, hey, I'm here. I'm going to be up your butt all night long and make it hard on you, and you're 60 yards from your own goal, so commit the foul there. That's fine.
Nice little skill check there by Chang, and it definitely is a good foul to give up. Ball in, Salcedo, McIntosh with the save. Again, Martinez! Douglas Martinez with number 12. The rebounds to a goal. And the Monarchs take a 1-0 lead here in the 22nd minute of play. $12 goals in 20 games this season for Douglas Martinez. One of those things you love to see, a guy like that following up a play. It looked like it was broken, but Douglas Martinez puts it back as we get a replay look at this one.
And Bofo Salcedo continues his run. McIntosh makes a great save, but what you want to see from your number 9, following up the play, and a lot of times you see these guys, it's a hurried finish. Martinez very composed, slots it into the right corner. 1-0 Monarchs.
And there was nothing Portland could do there to keep that one out on the second ball.
But you're going to, if you're Portland and you have such a young team, you're going to give up goals like that, because young defenders, they watch the play and they don't see what's really happening behind them or in and around them. And right there, one of the Timbers defenders could have stepped to follow up that play, but they're watching and being reactive instead of proactive, and Martinez is the one able to finish it.
And sometimes it comes down to a little bit of luck as well. That one fell nicely to Martinez. Martinez is going to go towards goal. He's inside the 18. Douglas Martinez, shot on frame, pushed away by McIntosh. Monarchs have been knocking on the door all night long, or all afternoon long, excuse me. Langsdorff, or Sierakowski, excuse me. Wharton out wide to Hurtado. Hurtado going at Moberg. Hurtado towards the touchline. Putna, big save, second ball is in the back of the nets. And Calixtro scores for Portland, and we're all level now through 24 minutes.
And once again, Landon, a rebound goal. The Timbers, they follow it up, and they're able to finish it. Now, I don't think that the play happened so quickly that the Monarchs players were sleeping or anything like that. It happened so quickly that they're not able to react. The ball just happened to follow the Timbers player. As you see in the replay here, great low cross, and very unlucky for the Monarchs players that that ball fell right to the Timbers player. And Calixtro finishes it, but almost made a great save there.
Yeah, he had the first save, tried to get his hand on the second one, got his hand on, as you can see, but wasn't able to keep it out of the back of the net. Now the Monarchs have to react. Chang inside to Blake. Blake picks up his head towards goal, takes a deflection.
Now, as we see a few more replays of this goal, one thing I think Eric Holt could have done, instead of taking that space away where the cross was, he could have stayed with Calixto, who had faked his run and then dropped off. And maybe Holt can stay with the guy because there's no danger zone right there in front of the goalie. And then maybe that ball falls to Holt instead of Calixto. But he's a young player. He's learning, and this is part of that learning process.
Ryden and Langsdorff go into a challenge. Langsdorff frustrated with our center referee, giving him a piece of his mind. Portillo back to Holt. We're all level at 1 here through 26 minutes. The Monarchs score and only 2 minutes later give up a goal. Schmidt. Mulholland's there. And Martinez will chase it down. Advantage played as Mulholland's down. Back to Salcedo. Salcedo. He's capable of shooting from here. He's going to run at the defense. Tries to dance around Hansen. He's going to battle back. Hansen goes down under his challenge.
Bofo Salcedo is not an easy player to defend one-on-one. He is so shifty and quick. And to be honest, Hansen has done a great job in his one-on-one situations tonight with Bofo. Can he keep doing it, and can he shut Bofo down? And then on the flip side of that, can Bofo make more things happen in those one-on-one situations?
Bofo Salcedo, a player from Park City, Utah. One of the local kids here. Fans, you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN through the 2022 season. The USL is excited to announce that the championship in League One will remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on ESPN family of networks, including 9 games on ESPN Deportes. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Ball played back to Putna. Mulholland. Martinez applying some pressure, going to be called for the foul. Smith goes down. It'll be a free kick for the Timbers too. 27th minute of play, all level. Ball out wide for Portland. Wharton calling for it. Gets it. Monarchs applying a lot of high pressure as they're trying to cut things off. Schmidt gets his head on it. Plays it back to Putna. Kind of one of those scary headers. If it comes off awkwardly, may spring in Portland's. But Putna was aware and alert. Moberg. He's going to take his green grass in front of him. Mulholland. Martinez, nice hold-up play there, trying to find the return pass to Mulholland, but it's cut off. Calixto making a nice run, but it takes a deflection before it can get to him. This game's kind of slowed here in the last few.
It has definitely slowed, but you're seeing a little bit of a Timbers team since the Monarchs scored that first goal against them. They have a little bit more pep in their step defensively, and they're moving the ball a little bit more quicker. The Monarchs, they need to pick their game back up to match the intensity that Portland has raised theirs. And if the Monarchs do that, I think that they can take a hold of this game again.
Martinez. It's going to be fouled. Martinez is still down.
And I don't think in the early part of the game you were seeing fouls like this from the Timbers. And as you look in the replay, Sarakowski here, he gets tight up on the Martinez, letting him know it's going to be a tough rest of this game. And you weren't seeing those things early on. The Timbers, they've picked themselves up, and now you're starting to see them play a little bit harder and have a little bit more commitment to this game.
And if you're Cameron Knowles, that's one of the things you have to be happy about, that this team has now come out with a little more fire. They're not just going to lay over and let the Monarchs run the show here.
And I know that Cameron Knowles was allowing his players to figure the game out and work their way into it, but it took him standing up, yelling at his players to get them going, and it also took that first goal from the Monarchs. Now, as a young player, you've got to be able to step up and do these things on your own and not wait for the coach or for a goal to get you going.
Possession so far, 75-25 for the Monarchs. 7 shots for the Monarchs, 4 on goal. 2 for Portland and 1 on goal for them. Langsdorff. Hansen. He'll look to play it into Wharton. Wharton, big switch. Moberg in that good position to cut it off. Ball forward. Martinez is going to be in a foot race. He's going to apply some pressure, give him credit. He's going to win that one. Martinez. In. Chang, back heel. And the idea was nice.
And that is great.
Not quite there.
Great work from Douglas Martinez. That was 100% not a foul. It is a shoulder-to-shoulder play. Martinez just happens to be a little bit stronger. But we saw that commitment from the Monarchs early on in the game with their runs. Right there, we didn't really see that same commitment they had early on.
But you like the idea, and something we've missed from this Monarch side here recently is the creativity. And I think you're starting to see that tonight. Some of these guys are feeling maybe a little more comfortable to try things because they know they have a solid squad behind them. Martinez gets the nutmeg, tries to go back and win it. He's in the corner, and he'll knock it out of play, and it'll be a throw-in for Portland.
And that creativity is really what you need, Landon. You need to be unpredictable and get the defense off balance. If you're always doing the same thing, defenses they're comfortable with that. But you need to make the defense uncomfortable. When you have guys like Michael Chang, Bofo Salcedo, Douglas Martinez, they make defenses uncomfortable, and that's how you score goals.
And goals are a must, as 3 points is the objective for both sides this afternoon. 3 points, like we mentioned in the pregame, would be huge for either side, propels Portland up into the playoff picture. The Monarchs, it puts them squarely in the mix as we get later. And home games are a must. 4 home games, including tonight, left on the season. As the ball is going to be played in, Schmidt played it heavy. But as I was mentioning, 8 games in total, including tonight, left on the season. 4 on the road, 4 at home. Those 4 home games for the Monarchs have to be all 3-point opportunities and 3 points picked up.
They need all 12 of those points because when you go on the road, to be honest, you're not expecting to get points. So like you said, those points at home are so huge.
Ball in the mix. Caught up under his feet. The goal scorer, Calixtro. Out wide to Hansen, or excuse me, Smith. Calixtro picks up his head, trying to find runners. Hansen out wide. Portland with a nice little spell of possession. But a bad giveaway. As you can hear from Cameron Knowles, it's got to be simple. Ball up over, it hangs and floats as Salcedo was making a nice run, but not able to get on the end of it. Flag up on Langsdorff as he was in behind. Nice heel flick there as he was able to, after the flag was up though, find a teammate. Blake, nice ball in to Martinez. Martinez battling. Salcedo's open, but no one sees him. There, ball gets to Salcedo, settles with his chest, takes a shot, and pushed up and over the bar. Sebastian Salcedo uncorked that one right at McIntosh, and McIntosh forced to make the save.
And a great ball over the top from Jack Blake here. Bofo Salcedo on his weak foot. He likes to come in on that right foot, but with his left foot, unleashes an absolute rocket, but McIntosh is up to the task tonight, so what a great save from him.
McIntosh has a few quality saves tonight to keep the Monarchs from doubling their advantage. Ball played in. Ryden's there. Ryden and Moberg. Looked like Ryden and Moberg collided, But a foul's called, and it'll be a free kick for Portland.
I think Moberg's having a little PTSD there from the last game that he played in. And unfortunately, Kalen Ryan gets called for the foul, but I think it was Ryden fouling Moberg.
Foul calls against your own teammate. Happens on occasion. McIntosh. High and long. Langsdorff rises up. Holt wins it. It'll be chased down by Portland. Martinez applying a lot of pressure, forcing Portland to do some work. Calixtro. Ball taken off his foot. Nobody throwing for Portland. Wharton, the captain, and Blake go into that challenge. Both captains came together.
And I think that's a little bit of frustration from Jack Blake there. He's trying to get some of his teammates going to put in tackles, and he takes it upon himself to make a statement to the Timbers. And really, that's what you want your captain to do. That's not a dangerous position. As you see, he comes in, not really trying to play the ball, but he's trying to send a statement to the Timbers and to the rest of his teammates, hey, we need to pick up our level again. And that's what you expect to see from a guy like Jack Blake, who's your captain.
And that's something we call Captain Crunch. Both captains came together. Ball played wide to Hansen. Hansen's going to try to keep it in. He does. Play back inside the box. Holt gets his head on it. Still inside the box. Portland with an opportunity. Horton. He's going to size things up. Portillo got in the way. As Martinez is going to be in a little bit of a foot race. Bad giveaway. But McIntosh off his line to deny Martinez a shot on frame.
And we talk about a guy like Douglas Martinez making your defense uncomfortable. That's it right there. That center back was very nervous in that one-on-one situation. And if it wasn't for McIntosh being quick off his line, Douglas Martinez is getting on the end of that pass.
Warren still gave the ball away, and Martinez found himself in a decent spot. Jack Blake in behind the defense. Blake shot and a deflection. As Dizpay was there to keep that one off frame. Monarchs kind of dangerous from a handful of different spots. Chang. He's going to walk the tightrope. Chang in towards frame, and he puts one right at the keeper and forced him to again protect his goal line.
As we see in the replay, Chang down on the end line, which is not an easy place to play one-on-one, but does a great job. Could he have slid that ball across the face of the goal to Douglas Martinez? Now, McIntosh might have been able to get it, but if Chang fakes the shot a little bit and then plays the ball across, Martinez is on his knees heading that ball into the goal. But McIntosh, once again, up to the task and makes a great save.
Portillo with the third corner of the night. Plays it in. Holt gets a touch. Still inside the 18. Wharton clears. Schmidt settles. Over to Mulholland. Monarchs still with numbers forward. Nice back heel by Moberg. Inside the box towards Martinez. Goal! Douglas Martinez with the brace.
And there's the creativity that you talked about earlier, Landon. A great little back heel, probably from the last person you'd expect on the field, James Moberg, and then Luke Mulholland puts in a absolute fantastic cross. I mean, you can't put a ball in any better than that, and Douglas Martinez has a great finish. But great work from James Moberg and Luke Mulholland on that right side of the field.
This is the time where you wish there was such thing as a hockey assist. The assist to the assist. James Moberg with the beautiful back heel springs Mulholland as you get a look at that, and the ball was served in perfectly for Douglas Martinez.
Crosses really don't get much better than that. What a ball from Luke Mulholland.
Douglas Martinez with one hat trick this season, and the only hat trick in Monarchs history against Tacoma Defiance. And through 39 minutes of play, he's sitting on a brace. And that's after around 70 minutes of play with Real Salt Lake against San Jose midweek.
He's 22 years old. I think he can handle these extra minutes.
And now he's riding high. The Monarchs up 2-1 now. And He's just applying pressure in every situation, making Portland uncomfortable in the back.
He needs to take this same confidence that he has with the Monarchs and apply that when he plays with the first team. If he does that, wow, could the first team be unstoppable?
Tune in to ESPN3 on September 18th at 6 p.m. for a potential Eastern Conference playoff preview when one of the league's top defenses, St. Louis FC, welcomes in high-powered New York Red Bulls to see it all September 18th at 6 p.m. during Wednesday Night Soccer on ESPN3. Monarchs going to try to get their line up, kind of make things a little more compact in the midfield. Dizpay. Martinez right there stalking him like he has all night long. As it falls to Anguiano. Hurtado tries to get it on Moberg. Moberg's been solid tonight, as he's a welcome sight for this Monarchs team to have back on the pitch. And Calixto is going to be shown yellow as he takes down Portillo here in the 41st. Not a necessary yellow card to be giving up for Calixto, especially as you are playing a pretty solid game with a goal so far.
I believe that is a tackle that's out of frustration right now, and you're going to have those from young players. But he's got to keep his head for the rest of the game and not have something like that happen again to put his team down to 10 men.
Ball up over top. Martinez tries to rise. Dizpay does a good job to keep him off ball. If the second ball comes in, Bofal Salcedo was in a good position to maybe receive it. Keep an eye on that. Bofal sitting right up off of Martinez, trying to play off him. Jack Blake out wide to Chang. Chang sizes up Smith. Dancing. Chang gets it caught under the wheels. And will look to play it back to Moberg. Portillo and Blake. Inside to Chang. Chang finds Moberg. Moberg had a tight angle there. Thought about turning it in, but will look to go back. Played inside the box. Punched away by McIntosh, but kept in by the Monarchs. Douglas Martinez is down on the ground, though. As you can hear, Cameron Knowles asking for the embellishment.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's a hard foul situation, but Douglas Martinez looks like he comes down a little awkward, and you can see he's got a little limp, and I bet you his foot when he came down got caught underneath him. And as a bigger player like that, and you're going up for balls consistently in the air, and you pick up a little niggling injury like that, it really wears on you as a player.
And that's something people don't realize, that sometimes those just awkward falls are the worst ones, and it takes a player a second or two to get up. Have to give a shout out to our favorite Englishman out there. I know we have a handful of them, but Tamor, one of the Monarchs legends, tuning into the match tonight from across the pond. All inside to Jack Blake. The Monarchs weren't quite on the same page. 43rd minute of play. Monarchs lead 2-1 here at Zions Bank Stadium. As Hurtado unable to get on the end of that one.
That was a fantastic situation for the Timbers to get a quick counterattack, and Hurtado, when he goes back and watches this, he's going to be so disappointed in himself because that was such a good opportunity, but Paul skips right over him, and the counterattack is over with.
Martinez, he gets a nice push from behind. He came down hard on his backside as Salcedo's going to be fouled. And a tough challenge there by Sierakowski, and he'll see yellow. Martinez is down. Salcedo's up. Martinez came down kind of rough as he went up for the challenge. Got a nice slight push to the back. Like I mentioned, Sierakowski sees yellow here in the 43rd. It's the 55th yellow card of the season for the Timbers too.
As you see in the replay here, Popo Salcedo slaloming through the midfield, and Sarakowski says, enough of that, puts in a hard tackle. Now, once again, another one of these situations where he's picked up a yellow card before the second half. He's got to be careful then in the second half that he doesn't pick up that second yellow.
And now when you're sitting with two midfielders, sitting with yellows, one of the things you have to be careful with is that second yellow, and it maybe will force the hand of Cameron Knowles as you see that first foul. And maybe he didn't get him quite, just got him enough off balance that he came down awkwardly.
I think people also underestimate how hard this turf is. Now, yes, it is new. It's the best turf on the market, but it is still very hard. And when you come down very awkwardly, the way Douglas Martinez did, it hurts. And people need to understand that it does hurt, and he's not faking that.
He's a guy that definitely doesn't want to come off the pitch early tonight. As Langsdorff's going to be called for the foul on Salcedo. Salcedo has a nice smile on his face. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He's winding the Timbers up a little bit right now. He's putting himself in situations that's forcing the Timbers to do things they don't want to. And he's causing fouls. He's causing yellow cards. And to be honest, it looks like he's enjoying doing that.
Stoppage time announced. 2 minutes here coming. Chang. Step overs. Cuts back. Trying to get off his feet, and it takes a deflection. It'll be out for a throw-in for Portland. Smith. Horn still. Floated ball looking forward to Sierkowski. Looks like there could have been a foul called there. Nothing going, though. Blake. Cameron Knowles asking for some clarification from our fourth official.
And to be honest, I'm going to agree with Cameron Knowles there. That probably should have been a foul, but that's the home field advantage that the Monarchs are getting.
It's gotten a little chippy, so you'd expect those fouls to be called, as you don't want things to get out of control. Mulholland picks up his head, trying to find the multiple players making runs. Sierkowski. Ornstein. Back to Sierkowski. Looks like Portland has one player warming up, and you'd imagine it might be one of those players sitting on yellow. Calixto or Sierkowski. Probably at the half, though, as we're almost officially through the full two. Monarchs going to try to kill this one off to go to the break up a goal. And there's the whistle. 45 minutes plus a little bit more have been played, and the Monarchs are going to take a 2-1 lead to the locker room. And that's an important 2-1 lead. To go up early in the 22nd, then to give up a goal that quickly, that's kind of a deflator. But to get the goal late provides you some security.
Great fight from the Monarchs to get that lead back into this game, but a 2-1 lead is such a dangerous lead to have in the game of soccer. Can the Monarchs come out in the second half and bring that intensity, get that third goal, because the next goal is going to be the one that means the most in this game, Landon.
And if they give up a goal, what does that mean for the life of Portland? Portland really could get back in this game really simply.
Really, that next goal either makes or breaks Portland. If the Monarchs get one more, that could break the Timbers back. But if they get that goal, now they start getting a little bit of confidence. And the Monarchs, they get down on themselves a little bit. It gets the Timbers right back into this game tonight.
And if you're Cameron Knowles, you want the 3 points. But you know, even a point here is huge for this Portland side. We'll toss it to our first break of this halftime. We'll be back with statistics shortly. America First Credit Union, ensuring the financial health of local families and businesses for 80 years. Tonight's match is presented by Steward Healthcare. Steward, world-class healthcare where you live. Visit steward.org. Mountain America, start preparing for your future today with Picture Perfect savings accounts from Mountain America. They offer term deposits, youth accounts, retirement savings, and more. Visit macu.com. For banking that always puts the best team on the pitch, Zions Bank is for you.
Okay, people, it's Ford Truck Month. And you know what that means. The best deals on America's best-selling trucks for 42 years straight. And with over 28 million sold, isn't it time you joined the stampede?
Now get a Ford F-150 with 0 for 72 financing plus $1,000 trade assist cash, or get over $13,000 in total savings.
Welcome into the beautiful Zions Bank Stadium here in Harriman City. Brody inside the team. Brody shot and a goal! Andrew Brody.
Blake takes the shot, and he hammered it home.
A lot can happen when your sidekick is a dog.
I got this.
That's why you use Zelle in the Mountain America app. It makes sending and receiving money fast and easy. So Kicker and I can keep the adventure going.
Zelle is now in the Mountain America mobile app. Quickly send and receive money from almost anyone with a bank account in the U.S.
Kicker, my sleeping bag.
I've got this.
All with the convenience and security of the Mountain America app.
For the past 42 years, and with over 28 million sold, more people have put their hard-earned money on a Ford F-Series truck than any other pickup in America. Yeah, I'd say that's money well spent. It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to join the stampede.
Now get a Ford F-150 with 0 for 72 financing plus $1,000 trade assist cash, or get over $13,000 in total savings.
Sullivan Asante does it again. Mr. Reliable from the spot. Asante does it again.
As Asante steals it and just puts it into the back of the net.
Sam DaCosta. The attempt at an amazing goal! Or maybe a goal of the year candidate from Rodrigo DaCosta.
This side as well.
It's a good point. Let's wait and see if they do.
As Kamara absolutely flies past Tete for pace. Here's Kamara! And a brilliant save from Cody Mizell. Mohamed Kamara is causing problems.
Mikey Rowe now. Rowe takes it on and it's in! What a strike! And Tormenta! They strike first! Ontivero. Silva will have a hit! Oh, good save by Mejimadu.
Hilton goes charging through, has to go! And what a strike it is from...
Oh, that's sensational. Ah. Oh, what a strike. Kadima! Saved by Bettleson. The Armin lets it fly. More on the save.
A lot can happen when your sidekick is a dog.
Kicker! I got this.
That's why you use Zelle in the Mountain America app. It makes sending and receiving money fast and easy. So Kicker and I can keep the adventure going.
Zelle is now in the Mountain America mobile app. Quickly send and receive money from almost anyone with a bank account in the U.S.
Kicker, my sleeping bag.
I've got this.
All with the convenience and security of the Mountain America app.
And we're back live here at Zions Bank Stadium. Monarchs lead 2-1. And an exciting first half and some action still to come because both teams really are still battling for that playoff position. Both teams know the 3 points are vital.
This game is still wide open, and like we talked about before the break, the next goal is really going to set the tone for the rest of this game. The Monarchs need that third goal to break the Timbers back, and the Timbers need that second goal to stay in the game.
Let's check out the scoreboard around the league. All games are this evening, starting with San Antonio and OKC Energy. Western Conference playoff implications there. New Mexico United in the hunt as well as they take on Colorado. Orange County and El Paso in the playoff picture. Fresno and Las Vegas, and Phoenix Rising and LA Galaxy 2. So a few results that possibly could help this Monarch side if they're able to collect 3 points tonight. Let's check out the standings again. We looked at this in the pregame, but like we mentioned, there's a lot of fluctuating still to happen as New Mexico, LA, Orange County, Sacramento, and Phoenix and Fresno all in action tonight. And there's not a handful of points that are really even separating that group. Let's check out the team of the week. As you can see, a handful of different players. Devin Sandoval, the former Real Salt Lake player. Hilliard Arce scored against the Monarchs. And Gomez, who is the USL Player of the Week after he scored 3 goals in 2 games for El Paso. That had a solid week for him. Let's check out the storylines here for halftime and what's going to happen in the second half. We've talked about it, and we're going to continue to talk about battle for the playoffs. 4th place to 14th is only separated by a total of 8 points. 3 points tonight is huge for the Monarchs, who have essentially 2 games in hand to most of the Western Conference players right around them. And the Monarchs, 3 points out of their last 5 games, and that is awful in a playoff push.
I think that's the really telling statistic right now is 3 points out of those last 5 games. That is 12 points that they are missing out on right now. And those 12 points, that could have them up in 3rd place right now, Landon, and they're sitting pretty and they're not worrying about every single game, but they've put themselves in this position where they need to get results. And right now, yes, they have the lead, but there's still 45 minutes to go tonight.
So with 45 minutes, what decisions does Thomason make? Are there substitutions he brings on, or just stick with what's working so far?
You stick with what's working so far because they have done well. They just haven't really had that final product so far in the first half. But as this game wears on a little bit longer and a little bit longer, he's going to have to start thinking a little bit defensively and put some defensive subs into the game to try to really hold down this lead.
Let's check out the highlights from the first half and a couple of the goals the Monarchs scored as well as the one they gave up. As you can see, Bofo Salcedo getting an opportunity, falls nicely to Douglas Martinez, who just puts it back in the onion bag. Here comes Portland's goal as it was touched towards the end line, pushed back to Calixtro, and Calixtro put it on frame. Putna, you have to give him credit, got one hand on it, but just wasn't able to keep it completely out. And here's the second goal by Douglas Martinez as he rose up nicely and put that one into the back of the net. So we're almost ready to get underway. It looks like we're going to have one substitution from Portland's. Looks like the same 11 will come out for this Monarch side. We'll get ready for second half action here at Zions Bank Stadium. Substitution for Portland's. Hurtado is going to come off as Ojeda. Christian Ojeda will enter the match for Portland's. Portland's going to get things started. So our center referee blows his whistle, and we are underway here in second half action. Wharton. Dispay. To Ornstill. Anguiano.
One thing you've already seen at the start of the second half is look how high all of the Timbers players are. Really, they only have the 2 center backs back a little bit, and the rest of the players are forward trying to get some progress in the attack. We didn't really see that in the first half from them. They had a lot of players behind the ball.
This is going to be cut off. As you can see, the substitution officially up on the screen. Opportunity, shot towards goal, and Putna collects. Putna goes down to his side and makes sure that one wasn't going in the back of his nets. Putna 22 saves on the season entering tonight, 13 games, and 3 clean sheets to his name. Mulholland trying to find Martinez. Ball checks up slightly. Martinez trying to get around Ornstill. But it did a nice job. And Martinez is down again. He just hasn't had his way tonight. And you'd hope he's all right. But the Monarchs are going to get Kyle Coffey up warming up.
And at this point in the game, with how many times Martinez has gone down tonight with little niggling injuries, Landon, you have to wonder, do you risk him further in this game? As you get further, you can see, I think he just takes a little knock on the thigh or the knee right there. But he's a guy you need healthy going into this final part of the season and getting ready for that playoff push. You know Kyle Coffey can come into this game and score goals. He's done it this year already. So do you take that chance and take Martinez out and keep him healthy and put Kyle Coffey in, and hopefully he can get the job done?
And you have to wonder if he's able to go. What do you do? How long do you keep him on? Like you mentioned, do you risk that? Especially with sitting on the brace, having played well so far, 48 minutes in. Looks like he's up and all right. I imagine that's just a slight knock. It didn't look too dangerous, but sometimes the non-contact injuries are the worst. Looks to be holding his hamstring slightly. As Chang's gonna play it into Mulholland. Mulholland's gonna play it back to McIntosh. McIntosh's last win game against the Monarchs on May 29th. 6 foot 175 keeper. He's done well to keep the Monarchs off for the most part. Has given up 2, but he's played well for the most part, other than those 2 goals. It'll be a first corner kick of the match for Portland here in the second half. Martinez back on. And it looks like Coffee is going to continue to stretch.
On the back, Luke.
Ball back post, still inside the box, falls to Horton. Still on top of the 18. Holt applies pressure. Heavy touch there by Smith, but he'll keep possession for Portland. Like we mentioned, Portland with a smaller bench tonight. Only 4 field players and a keeper. And now with 3 field players and a keeper, having used 1 substitution.
And really, that could really come into play at the end of this game, Landon, not having those numbers and those subs to contribute, especially if you're pushing to tie the game or win the game, and when you look down your bench and you don't have the players you normally see, it makes a big difference.
You have to wonder, what can Cameron Knowles inject into this game to change things up and level the score? Portland, though, has come out better here in the start of the second half.
I just think that they have more of an attacking mentality, and you can see from their positioning and their spacing that they have that mentality that they didn't necessarily have in the first half. Now, can the Monarchs adapt and figure that out?
Looks like the Monarchs are going to make a early second half substitution. The coaching staff is getting ready, getting Kyle Coffey ready. Ball out wide. Ryden's going to chase out Langsdorff. Back to Hansen. Big switch there, but it felt like it got caught up in the air. There's a slight cross breeze coming essentially diagonally through the pitch from the north side to the southwest or southeast side. Big ball up over top. It's going to check down and fall to McIntosh. Martinez, 2 goals, 3 shots, and 3 shots on target. 22 touches in the match tonight. He's been pretty efficient with every touch he's had. Smith plays it out wide. Holt checks out wide. Ojeda inside the box. That's going to cross the goal line. It'll be a goal kick for the Monarchs.
And right now, at the start of this half, Timbers looks like the team that they've come out strong. The Monarchs are a little bit on their heels right now, and I think a lot of that has to go with the mentality that the Timbers have come out with to be a little bit more offensive. And the Monarchs, they have to adapt. But they're setting the tone right now for the second half. Right now, the Monarchs, they're a team that likes to keep possession. They really haven't had much of the ball in this half. The Timbers have had the bulk of the possession in the first 6 minutes.
Headed. Chang won't chase it. It'll go out for a throw-in. Smith. He'll get it back. Coffey's almost up and ready to go as Moberg's going to be called for the foul. Guiano. Trying to get Coffey ready. Looks like he was going to come in. Now he's sitting back down. As you can hear Matt Glazer say that we're going to hold the sub a little bit longer. I don't know if it's maybe something that the Monarchs have seen that's kind of settled in that they didn't like. Person we haven't seen much on the ball here in the second half is Sebastian Salcedo. Very active in the first half. not much action so far.
But I think a lot of that comes from the fact that the Monarchs, they haven't had much possession. Bofo Salcedo is not one of these guys that's going to win the ball out of the air. He wants to play with the ball on the ground. Now, the Monarchs, they haven't done much of that. He hasn't been able to find the ball at his...
Blake starts the counterattack up towards Chang. Chang cuts inside towards Smith. Bofo Salcedo inside the 18, back heel to Martinez. And Martinez just can't get on the end of it. He was looking for that hat trick.
Great run and great ball from Bofo Salcedo. As you see here in the replay, he gets in behind. He knows that Martinez is making that run. Just a little heel flick. Just unlucky that it wasn't 6 inches further for Martinez to fully get on top of that ball.
But a nice creative look from the Monarchs is something we've mentioned that they feel like they've been playing a lot with tonight. And so you've seen a handful of the different back heels.
And that is something that we haven't seen in the past month or so. We see it from Michael Chang all the time, but seeing it from multiple players on the field has really created a lot of opportunities for the Monarchs.
Ball sprayed out wide. Schmidt gets turned and riding there to save it, make sure it goes wide.
Great run from Hansen there, and that's Schmidt. He's a new outside back. He's figuring out the role, and one-on-one defending is one of those things that you have to be extremely good at if you're going to be an outside back, because you are left on an island quite a few times out there.
Possession in this half has favored Portland as that corner kick's going to go out. It'll be a second corner kick for Portland. But like I was mentioning, possession essentially 59-41 for Portland here in the second half.
Really, we've seen a completely different Timbers team in this second half. They've changed one member of the lineup, but it has changed the whole mentality of this group so far.
And one of the things I think you notice is Cameron Knowles has them coming out playing a lot differently here in this second half than they were in the first half. Zoheda's going to take the corner. Ball driven in. Ryden rises high and heads it away. Runs are going to be recycled. Smith, he'll play it inside the box. We'll skip ball. The Monarchs don't have numbers, but are going to try to go forward. Salcedo out wide. Blake all the way on the opposite side. He thinks about getting it to Blake, and he'll play it into Portillo. Into Chang. Back inside to Chang. Chang bends it around and misses by not too much. Had to have only been a foot or so off that far post.
If there's anybody on this team you want in that position, it's Michael Chang. And as you see in the replay there, just a bit outside. And Michael Chang's going to wish that he had that one back. I've seen him 100 times a day at practice, in warm-ups tonight. Every time he's putting that ball in the top corner. This time, though, just a bit wide.
You have to like those looks from the Monarchs, especially the confidence to turn and just size up.
But you need to start seeing that life from the Monarchs. And right there, that's the first bit that you need to see. And then hopefully from there, the Monarchs can build on that.
Jack Blake gets it wide to Chang. Chang's going to chase it down. He'll corral it. Picks up his head. Plays it in to Jack Blake. Jack Blake just wide! Mulholland went down right in front of him, and it caused a little bit of confusion, but Jack Blake almost found himself on the score sheet.
Jack Blake calling Luke Mulholland off there, but Mulholland can't do anything else except for just lay down on the field and pray to the good Lord that Jack Blake does not hit him with that shot. And Jack Blake almost sneaks it in that back post, just like Michael Chang.
Two quick shots from the Monarchs, who didn't feel like they had much life here starting the second half, but they're looking good here in the last few. Martinez gets around the defender. He's going to be called for the swim move there as he puts that one up and wide. I think that's a little frustration as Martinez has been battling all night long.
And at first here, Martinez, he has position, but Dispay does an excellent job of getting back around him and using that big frame to cut Martinez off from the ball. And then when you put yourself between the player and the ball, it forces Martinez to have to go through you, and that's a foul every single day of the week. And Timbers really, Dispay did a great job getting himself back in the position.
As Brad Jensen does not show yellow, and you can hear some frustration from Cameron Knowles. There's a second ball on the field. Horn still. To Dispay. Looking for options in front of him. He'll play it to Sierra. Ball falls, takes a deflection, and it'll be right back into Putna's waiting arms. Fans, USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth talents and compete at the highest levels across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Like we mentioned in the halftime, Monarchs 0-2-3 in their last 5. And really struggling to find points when they need them most. Portland on the opposite side, 2-3-0 in their last 5, climbing up. Looking for another result today. Flag up on Salcedo as he came from an offside position to an onside position. Kind of a meaningless call there. But a switch you're seeing tactically from the Monarchs is you're seeing Douglas Martinez now out wide and Salcedo sitting up high. Langsdorff. Inside the center of the pitch. Shot on goal. Putna save! He stretched out Superman style to keep that one out of the back of the nets. Chang, another skill check. Gets it forward. Salcedo running in. Salcedo still with it. He'll turn and take his time, waiting for attacking options in front of him.
And one reason I think that we've seen Salcedo switch to the middle of the field is because we talked about earlier, he wasn't seeing enough of that ball. Now, if he switches to the middle of the field, he's going to start seeing more of it, and now he can make things happen. And hopefully, by making those runs into the corner now, you can let Douglas Martinez run in on that back post and use his size to his strengths and get on the end of those crosses.
So essentially, you're pulling out some of the center backs away from the park, allowing Douglas Martinez to not have to just be in a foot race with center backs.
And that's the hope by putting Salcedo there. Now, will it necessarily work? We don't know, but right there, you saw Salcedo make that run, hold the ball up, and that's what the Monarchs need right now.
Blake will apply pressure. Dispay will dump it forward. The wind took that one, and I think pushed it out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Monarchs. 61st minute of play. Monarchs still lead 2-1 as both teams have their benches up warming up. Portland's made 1 substitution so far. Monarchs yet to make a substitution. Mulholland goes down for a second. Salcedo in, behind. Sebastian Salcedo, shot just wide. And he has to finish that opportunity as he's going to want that one back.
And we just talked about this. Having Salcedo in the middle to make those runs, fantastic run, fantastic ball, but there's just a little too much wind today, Landon, because all the shots are missing by 2 or 3 inches right now, and the Monarchs are very unlucky to not get that 3rd goal so far.
So Wharton's down. Captain Horton down. Douglas Martinez now tied for 6th place in the USL with 13 goals on the season. The Monarchs are trying to claw back deeper into the Western Conference playoff picture.
And to think that it took Martinez 4 or 5 games to score his first goal, and he has done a great job making up for that from the beginning of the season.
There was a time where you and I were talking about just his work rate, his hold-up play, and that really was what we talked about with him. But now it's all about the goal-scoring ability that he has. So he's going to get a run up the wing. He's going to chase it down into the corner. He'll keep it in. He'll slow it up, waiting for runners. Schmidt gets forward, into Chang. Chang tries to turn the defender. Salcedo thought someone was out wide. As Chang had cut in, there was no one there. Moberg's put in a good shift all night long. You can't expect him to have been in that situation. But that's possibly the player that he thought was there.
And that goes back to what we talked about earlier, which is the chemistry of the guys, not knowing where players are going to be, and that's what happens when that is a problem.
So run all the way towards goal, and it's going to touch him last. Hansen, and it'll be a goal kick for the Monarchs. Like we mentioned, both teams were a part of the playoffs last year. Both teams in a position to be a part of the playoffs this year. But there's a battle for both sides. I mean, 1 point slip-ups here and there cause you in a position where you have a little angst waiting to see how the other results shake out in the league.
And that's really why you can say every game from here on out is a playoff game, because that's how important these games are now. You need to win to get those points to stay in the playoffs, and it's the same thing. If you're in the playoffs, you have to win to stay in, and that's kind of how it is right now for both of these teams.
Moberg, he cuts inside. Saw the run of Martinez. Just not able to get it to him. Schmidt cutting in. Schmidt picks up his head. Schmidt on frame, but just wide. And I think it took a deflection on its way in here in the 65th.
Great work from Tate Schmidt there. As you see, he could have played the ball in first time, but cuts it back to his right foot. Great shot, but as he goes forward, could he have played that ball first time across to a streaking Mulholland on the back post who was wide open? But even though he doesn't, he still does a great job of getting a great shot on the goal.
Fourth corner of the match for the Monarchs, first of the second half. Michael Chang's going to swing it in with the left foot. Headed away, zonal marking there by the Timbers. Luke Mulholland picks up his head, tries to whip it in, but deflected. Portillo to Salcedo. Into Ryden. Both center backs up forward. Ball's gonna go out wide to Chang. Numbers still inside the box. Chang looking back post. Mulholland's there. Recycles to Jack Blake. Shot, deflection, and a hat trick! Mr. Hat Trick, Douglas Martinez. That's probably the easiest hat trick finish you'll ever have, but give him credit for being right on the spots.
And really, that ball from Chang to Mulholland was what I was just talking about earlier with Tate Schmidt. Chang finds Mulholland on the back post, great layoff. Jack Blake has a great shot on goal. And when you are scoring, you know where to be in the box, and ball falls right to Martinez, and it's a great finish. But before the finish, it is a fantastic build-up from the Monarchs.
You gotta love, it kind of kept shifting around. The center backs even got in on the action. You didn't feel like that ball was maybe dangerous, but Jack Blake turned it on frame and did all the work, and Martinez just had to tap it home.
You are right in the fact that the ball that Chang played Mulholland wasn't dangerous, but what that ball does is it moves the defenders around, and it creates that opening for Blake to get the shot to go between all of the defenders. And then because that ball went to the back post, the defenders lost track of Douglas Martinez, and he was able to be Johnny on the spot and finish the rebound.
And he was the last player you wanted to lose track of, as he's now sitting on the hat trick. Now 14 goals on the season for Douglas Martinez. And if you're Freddie Juarez with Real Salt Lake, you have to be licking your chops at what this player gives you as a possible opportunity, especially a player that's in this type of form right now. Warren still. Plays it wide, trying to find the runner. Multiple Monarchs players kind of sat as the ball gets and a shot opportunity by Portland, but it was kind of an awkward one there, as it looked like there was a little bit of a miscommunication between Moberg and Holt.
As a defender, you never want that ball to drop down between defenders. You want to win the ball in the air, because when that ball drops, that's where the miscommunication happens, and you saw it almost happen there.
Hansen wins the ball in the foot race with Salcedo. Dispe. Hornstill. Ojeda. He'll get the return pass right back from Smith. Ball played inside the box. Langsdorff in the area, but floated a little too high. And Mulholland, the idea was right, but Portillo wasn't on the same page. Ojeda has Smith running wide. Moberg's gonna check out to him.
Hey, fucking wake up!
They're gonna get right in front of that one, and it'll be a corner kick for Portland.
That's on right now!
And as you can hear, Hamas Olave and Matt Glazer telling the players, wake up. One of the most important times in the game is right after a goal, because when a team scores, they have that emotional letdown afterwards, and it allows the other team to take advantage of that, and the Monarchs can't let that happen.
As Mulholland is down, or excuse me, not Mulholland, Moberg.
Then we're down a man on the corner.
Moberg back up. You have to wonder, you have to hope that it has nothing to do with those concussion symptoms that he's had. Corner kick coming. Driven in near post. Moberg there with a kind of a back flick. It'll be a throw in for Portland. Monarchs bench frustrated, wants the guys to get settled and make sure they're getting together as a unit.
They've got to get that focus back right now. Yes, they just scored a great goal, and you have a 2-goal lead, but you can't have a letdown now, because if you have a letdown now, it lets the Timbers right back into the game.
Throw in for Hansen. Langsdorff comes to him. Langsdorff in the corner. Looks like he's trying to win a corner kick. He'll play it off. So touches Salcedo last. Martinez has the ball. He's going forward. He's got the wheels, got the space in front of him. Can he get number 4? Martinez! Number 4! Have yourself an afternoon. Douglas Martinez, it didn't feel like he maybe had the wheels, but he just kept going and going and going.
What a week for this kid. Make your first team debut, step out for the Monarchs, and put 4 goals on the Portland Timbers. What a week for him. And as a young player, you always have to be tuned into where the dangerous players are. And Timbers right there, they lose track of probably the most dangerous player on the field. A great clearance from Eric Holt, and Martinez gets on that ball, uses his speed to get in behind the Timbers, and they just can't keep up with him. As you see in the replay, no one in this stadium is catching Douglas Martinez right now. But people need to understand, one-on-one with the goalie is not easy, and Douglas Martinez just made that look really easy. But when you're scoring goals by the bucket loads, everything looks easy.
And you've got to love what he's showing tonight. Keener's going to come into the match and replace Hansen, as the Monarchs are now up 4-1 here in this match. And I mean, you got to talk about that. That just has got to feel good for your confidence and how you feel as a player, as Douglas Martinez might not be done. He's chasing this one down. Numbers forward. Martinez towards Blake. Back to Martinez. Sees Mulholland. And the pass gets there. Luke Mulholland picks up his head to Chang. Chang inside the area. Chang trying to find Salcedo and picked off. Portillo.
If you're Douglas Martinez right now and you have the ball on top of the box, shoot. Everything is going in for the young guy right now. Why not just take a chance and put a ball on goal, because you are feeling really good. It's like when a three-pointer is on fire and when a three-point shooter is on fire in basketball, take the shots.
Everything seems to be falling sometimes for guys, and Martinez feels like he can't miss tonight or this afternoon. And, you know, something that is pretty incredible to do what he's doing. He's with 7 games left, is Blake's gonna go in behind. Blake towards goal, and he goes down. Smith there on the challenge does a good job to keep Blake from having an opportunity on goal. But something I was mentioning, Douglas Martinez with 1 goal more on the season will tie the Monarchs' all-time single season record with Chandler Hoffman at 16 goals. Langsdorff into Keener. Ball pushed away by Ryden, but the foul called. Fans, you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN through the 2022 season. The USL is excited to announce that the championship and League One will remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will be featured on ESPN family of networks, including 9 games on ESPN Deportes. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Kobayashi is going to come on and replace Calixto, who was sitting on a yellow card and also had the lone goal for the Timbers tonight. That's the 3rd and final substitution for Portland. Here through 74 minutes. Chang gets some force from Smith, and a foul will be called. Looks like Monarchs going to make 2 substitutions here momentarily. Moberg takes the restart. Portillo switch, didn't get all of that as he was trying to find Schmitz. Kobayashi did not get the touch. It looked like he pulled back at the last second. It'll be a double substitution for the Monarchs. Still get the board ready. Looks like Kyle Coffey is going to come on for Jack Blake, or Michael Chang. Number was wrong. And Christian Calix is going to come on here in a second.
48, Jack Blake. 48.
As you can hear Matt Glazer saying Jack Blake actually is going to come off. So they're getting the board up to announce Calix coming on.
I think the board they had might have died, and they're using the backup board.
As Jack Blake was important in the match tonight, as he'll come off through 76 minutes. Michael Chang and Jack Blake both were very instrumental in the attack tonight, but an opportunity for Christian Calix.
And I love this substitution by Hamilton Olave. Jack Blake is one of those guys that he will run until his legs fall off, but he needs a little bit of rest so that he can be fresh for their playoff push here at the end of the season. So I absolutely love that sub right there from Hamilton Olave.
And ball back to Ornstill. Big switch there. Ryden steps out. Nice ball by Kobayashi as he gets a touch. Ryden goes riding with him to the end line.
Kyle on the near, Calix on top.
Make sure that's out for a corner kick. 5th corner of the match for Portland. 77th minute. Portland does not want to just fall apart like this. Ryden rises high, wins the header, and he'll push it out wide. 1 substitution remaining for the Monarchs. No substitutions here left for Cameron Knowles. Individual record in the USL Championship is 5 goals in a game. Has about 15 minutes to see if he can equal that. And here he's going to get a go at it. Struggles to get the touch, but he'll go towards the corner. Thinks about playing it in. We'll hold it up. Stat brought to you by Nicholas Murray from the USL office. Connor McKenna providing our stats here in the booth tonight. for us here at Zions Bank Stadium. 4-1 Monarchs here in the 78th. Monarchs came a little flat out in the second half. But ever since that moment, have been riding high.
It was a very worrisome start for the Monarchs here in the second half. The Timbers came out very well, but Monarchs, they weathered the storm, got their act together, and have really had a very good second half minus that first 10 minutes.
This is the second 4-goal game in the USL Championship this week. Individual performances. Sometimes that's what you need if you're going to make the playoffs. Someone to just step up and say, I want 3 points.
We talked about that in the pregame. Who was going to be the player that steps up and puts this team on their back? And Douglas Martinez answered that question tonight.
Schmidt plays it forward to Salcedo. Salcedo looking towards Calix.
Yes, Kofi!
As Mulholland's down behind the play.
Easy ball!
Salcedo does not like what happened right there. He's definitely going to see yellow. But he knew exactly what he's doing, and especially in a game like this where it gets a little out of hand score-wise, sometimes those nick and the little challenges frustrate players. As Salcedo's going to see a card for sure. As Horton came right into him, knew exactly what he was doing.
And it was after the fact, and it was a foul out of frustration. Did it warrant the response that it got? I'm not exactly sure.
Wharton's going to see yellow, and Salcedo's going to see yellow here in the 80th. As you can see frustration on the Timbers bench.
And as you can tell, both Salcedo letting Wharton know, hey, the score is 4-1. Maybe that should be Salcedo's reaction to begin with. Instead of getting up to go after the player, let the player know right away, hey, 4-1. And now you're not getting up and putting your team in a precarious position of going down a man with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, and that's one of those things you have to be heads up, and that's the maturity that players sometimes lack in games, to realize that you can't let your emotions completely get a hold of you, especially when you've got a 3-goal lead.
And I love to see the emotions out of Bofo Salcedo, but let him know right away it's 4-1. You don't need to get up and push him or anything like that, and now you're not getting that yellow card.
Putting plays it forward. Mulholland gets collided into from behind, and he's got to call something. Mulholland got collided into from behind.
And with a guy that has had troubles with injury this year, you don't want to see something like this happen.
As Orn still gets him from behind. And Mulholland still down. 82nd minute of play. Monarchs with the 4-1 lead, courtesy of Douglas Martinez. His 4 goals, 22nd, 37th, 66th, and 71st minute of play.
After this game, I really hope that the Monarchs take this momentum. They take the confidence that they've really gotten from this game, Landon, and I hope they carry it on into their next game, because they haven't, in previous years, they really haven't had that confidence at the end of the year. Hopefully having a game that's 4-1 like this against a team that is a fairly good team, that they can carry that confidence on into the next few games and get those points that are so critical to their playoff push.
Mulholland's up. And for the next 3 weeks on the road after tonight, you go on the road to Tacoma on Tuesday, so a quick turnaround. Then Saturday at Rio Grande Valley, then the following Saturday at Reno. So a tough little stretch, but winnable games those first 2, but a quick turnaround again.
Definitely winnable games, and like I said, I hope a game like this gives them the confidence to go on the road and get results.
Mulholland's up and back onto the pitch. Ball played in. Coffey's going to get a touch. Kyle Coffey's going to go forward. Coffey's got someone behind him. Kyle Coffey picks up his head shot. Goal! Kyle Coffey emphatically puts one home. You gotta love the confidence from that kid just to pick up his head and slam it home.
Kyle Coffey could be the most unassuming player on the field. We haven't said his name really for anything yet, Landon, but he sneaks his way around what could have been a very bad tackle from Ornstill, and he drives forward. You don't really know what he's going to do, and he lays the hammer down at the last second and puts the ball top corner near post. And like you said, you love seeing that confidence from a guy like Kyle Coffey.
Kyle Coffey puts his name in the scorebook tonight, making that number 5 for this Monarch side, as Bofo Salcedo is going to check out of the match, and Luis Palma is going to come on as you're getting another look at that. He knew exactly where he wanted to place it and just sent it home. Monarchs in complete control of this one now. You wondered early on with the multiple opportunities if the Monarchs were going to see some goals, but here in the second half, it has really erupted and opened wide open.
And when you have a team that's as young as T2 is, you score 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, really they really put their heads down, and then that's when the floodgates open and you get to 4 and 5 like it has right now.
Moberg out wide. Monarchs with 19 shots, 12 on goal, and 5 goals. Coffey. Into Calix. Over to Moberg. Calix tries a tight ball in space. And Portillo slams it off a player, but it'll be a free kick for Portland. And when we talked about battle for playoff position, the Monarchs are putting an emphasis as they want to be a part of this playoff mix this season.
Really, they're letting the Western Conference know that, yes, there's 8 games left, and we mean business for those next 8 games. They're not going to roll over and die like they have in previous years.
But a quick turnaround for the Monarchs. Like we mentioned, they play Tacoma Defiance on Tuesday. They're going to have to put in some work on a quick turnaround Saturday afternoon match. Get some rest this evening. Get some recovery on Sunday, and back at it on Monday to travel to Tacoma. Andrew Putna, almost with an unblemished record tonight, except for that 1 goal. Really hasn't had to do a whole ton. Tune into ESPN3 on September 18th at 6 p.m. for a potential Eastern Conference playoff preview when one of the league's top defensive teams, St. Louis FC, welcomes high-powered New York Red Bulls 2 to their pitch. See it all September 18th at 6 p.m. during Wednesday Night Soccer on ESPN3. Throw in for James Moberg, the University of Washington product. One of the many dogs we've had around. So they both went into the challenge. Not quite sure why he's going to see yellow. Seems like the ball's in a position where he's playing it. But nonetheless, James Moberg going to see yellow here in the 87th.
That is really, really dangerous in his knee. He's falling his fucking knee.
James Moberg, yellows, you're going to get his replay look at this one. He got him right.
And I can see the argument from Cameron Knowles there. Moberg does come in very high and over top of the ball. Now, from the referee meetings we've always had, when you come in high and over the ball, it can be a red card. But that is such an odd situation with the ball bouncing like that.
Martinez, he'll keep it in. Martinez has Calix and Coffey running inside the box. He'll play it to Palma. Palma picks up his head. Into Portillo. Portillo to Coffey. Out wide to Moberg. Moberg's gonna take a shot on goal. And my goodness, he was looking for those cobwebs up in the corner, and a great save there by McIntosh. Wow, McIntosh got up.
You see in the replay here, James Moberg, why not? Why not take that shot? Everything else has gone in for the Monarchs tonight. But McIntosh has made some great saves tonight.
Portillo, quick into Palma. They'll recycle it back, but the flag up on the far side as Portland came off their line pretty quickly to pull Portillo in an offside position. '89th minutes.
Are you having a laugh here? Are we having a laugh? That's a booking. You've got to be kidding me.
Frustration off Portland's bench, as you can maybe hear a little bit of that. And rightfully so, 5-1 here at Zions Bank Stadium. Orange still. Kobayashi is cut off by Palma. Be a throw-in for the Monarchs. Monarchs are going to take their time. Imagine there's a few minutes of stoppage time, as we've had a couple different situations of players down here in the second half. Ball back to Putna. Big ball trying to find Martinez. And Martinez and Dispay will play it forward. Martinez is going to draw the foul. That'll be a free kick for the Monarchs, and this is kind of slowed to a crawl now, as both teams kind of see the inevitable writing on the wall at this point.
But if you're the Monarchs, kill the game off.
3 points tonight. Like we mentioned, huge for both sides. Monarchs going to get the 3 points. They're going to move to 40 points, which will jump them all the way up into the 4 spots, with other actions still waiting to happen tonight.
It is so amazing how close this Western Conference really is. The fact that you could, if you lose this game and other games go away, you could drop out of the playoff race completely. But if you win this, you go all the way up to 4th place.
Well, and Portland could have jumped from 12th all the way up into the 8th position, just in front of the Monarchs. So 3 points either way was a massive swing. But the Monarchs going to take their 3 points, as we have 3 minutes of stoppage time coming. Langsdorff in behind. Ryden gets back into position, and Langsdorff is beside himself.
But when you see a Western Conference that's that close, that really makes me excited for the playoffs. For the playoff format that the USL has, man, anything can happen. And the fact that all these teams are so even is going to be so exciting.
And one of the things the Monarchs are looking to get is that number 4 seed in the top 4. Getting in the top 4 allows them to have a home playoff game. And we know last year it didn't go so smoothly here at Zions Bank Stadium, the 1-0 loss in stoppage time to Reno. But at the same time, they have been phenomenal here at Zions Bank Stadium.
Really, Landon, you could say the last 2 years, they've had that home field advantage, and it has not gone their way. At this point, I want them to have the right mentality and the confidence going into the playoffs, whether it's on the road or whether it's at home. Now, obviously, the people would love for it to be at home, but they just need to have themselves right mentally and physically going into the playoffs, because they haven't done that the last 2 years. They've been on losing streaks going into the playoffs, and it's shown then in the playoffs how they've played.
It's been a loss to Sacramento on PKs, and then a loss to Reno last year. Ball's going to go back out wide to Martinez, but the flag's up, as he really, at this point, doesn't have a whole ton to do.
If I'm Douglas Martinez, I am trying to get out of this game unscathed right now. With all of the after-ball shenanigans that have been going on, stay healthy so that you can go into Tuesday's game with no knocks or little niggling injuries.
Martinez now leads the team in goals and assists, 15 goals, 7 assists. Monarchs with 20 shots and 12 on goal. Portland with 8 shots and 4 on goal, but only 1 goal to Joe Fort. Ball inside. Monarchs still applying pressure, as we're unofficially through 2, and it'll be a throw-in for the Monarchs. As we're into the waning moments of this match. Monarchs going to move to 11, 9, and 7, like I mentioned, with 38 points and a lot of action in the Western Conference tonight. Martinez wanted to have a go there for a second. Like we mentioned, an opportunity to try to tie the USL championship regular season, or excuse me, goal scoring, single game goal scoring record. So he's gonna run in. Not much time left in this one. To Calix. Calix in towards Coffee. Coffee gonna run towards goal. And McIntosh will collect. Brad Jensen checks his watch. And there can't be much more than a few moments left in this one. Langsdorff. Whistle in his mouth. And the whistle is blown. 90 minutes of soccer have been played, and the Monarchs will take all 3 points this afternoon in Harriman, Utah.
And what a performance by these boys today. We weren't sure after the last few games really what we were going to get, and they really stepped up and let the Western Conference know that, hey, the Monarchs are back and they mean business going into the last part of this season that is so important.
7 games now remaining for this Monarchs side. Some tough challenges, and like we mentioned, a quick turnaround, a Tuesday evening match in Tacoma against a team that is at the very bottom of the table. So an opportunity, though, to get 3 points.
An opportunity to get 3 points, but it is a quick turnaround. You have to travel to the Northwest, and this could be a trap game where the players go into it thinking, hey, this is going to be an easy game, and Tacoma comes out and plays them really hard. So the Monarchs, they have to have the right mentality going into this game. It is not going to be easy, no matter what people think, no matter where Tacoma is in the table. The Monarchs have to come in with the right mentality.
And at this point in time, every game means something, whether you're on the road, whether you're at home, whether you're playing the best team or the worst team. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with final thoughts here next. America First Credit Union, ensuring the financial health of local families and businesses for 80 years. Tonight's match is presented by Steward Healthcare. Steward, world-class healthcare where you live. Visit steward.org. Mountain America, start preparing for your future today with Picture Perfect savings accounts from Mountain America. They offer term deposits, youth accounts, retirement savings, and more. Visit macu.com. For banking that always puts the best team on the pitch, Zions Bank is for you.
A lot can happen when your sidekick is a dog.
Kicker. I got this.
That's why you use Zelle in the Mountain America app. It makes sending and receiving money fast and easy. So Kicker and I can keep the adventure going.
Zelle is now in the Mountain America mobile app. Quickly send and receive money from almost anyone with a bank account in the U.S.
Kicker, my sleeping bag.
I've got this.
All with the convenience and security of the Mountain America app.
For the past 42 years, and with over 28 million sold, more people have put their hard-earned money on a Ford F-Series truck than any other pickup in America. Yeah, I'd say that's money well spent. It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to join the stampede.
Now get a Ford F-150 with 0 for 72 financing plus $1,000 trade assist cash, or get over $13,000 in total savings.
Welcome into the beautiful Zions Bank Stadium here in Harriman City. Brody inside 18. Brody shot and a goal! Huge statement for the Monarchs this afternoon in Harriman, Utah. A 5-1 thumping of the Timbers 2. And that was it really was a statement to the rest of the league that this team is very capable of being part of the playoff picture and wants to be a part of the playoffs, and even that fact, host here at Zions Bank Stadium.
And after the last 5 games, there were a lot of questions being asked about this Monarchs team, and really they came out and they put those doubters to rest tonight by putting an absolute offensive explosion on this Timbers team. But can they carry this momentum? Can they carry this confidence into the final part of this season?
Like we mentioned, that quick turnaround, there's opportunities real quick, and you have to wonder, where does Douglas Martinez now fit into this mix after having signed a contract with Real Salt Lake? Is he here? Is he up with the first team? How does that all play out? But right now, he's got one goal, and you can see that, to get this team into the playoffs, even if he has to carry them on his back.
No matter where he's at, you know what kind of player you're going to get. Obviously, we're going to hope that we get to see him with the Monarchs, but professionally, I hope he gets to stay with the first team. But with him going up to the first team, the Monarchs are going to need somebody to step up into that void. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Kyle Coffey? Is it going to be Damian Herman? That's going to be a question that the Monarchs need answering.
And Kyle Coffey showed that he wants to be a part of that 18 on a regular basis, coming on as a sub, scoring a beautiful goal as he slammed that one home late. And he had all the confidence in the world as he ran right at the defense, decided he was going to go at it himself.
Really, Kyle Coffey brings quite a few different qualities than what Douglas Martinez brings, but he still brings great ability to the field, and as we saw tonight, he was able to drive forward, had a fantastic finish, and we've seen that from him in other games as well. He has scored a few goals this year by being in the right place, doing the right things. Now, if he is called upon to be the guy to carry the weight on his shoulders, can he do that?
And he scored 3 goals on the season. Let's check out the upcoming schedule for the Monarchs and really their final look at those final 7 games coming up for the Monarchs. As you see, quick turnaround to Tacoma, staying on the road at Rio Grande Valley, and then again on the road on the 28th to face Reno, back home on the 5th and the 9th against Orange County, and then to finish out that stretch against the #1 team in the league, Phoenix Rising. So some opportunities, some challenges, and a chance to make sure you cement yourself as one of those top 4 teams.
And tonight, hopefully this sent a message to the rest of the league that they can do that. But really, it's up to these guys to go on the road, get some points, but then when they're at home, they have to take care of business.
From all of our wonderful team here that makes this possible, our production crew, our statistician, Connor McKenna, David Horse, I'm Landon Southwick. We'll catch you next time here on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.